Now, I know that some of you neurotypical wives out there are frustrated and angry that your ASD husband doesn't listen or doesn't seem to listen. Totally understandable, not faulting you at all. But here are some, I would call them legitimate reasons. You may agree, may disagree, that's fine. First, we have distraction. Think about it like this. He might be preoccupied with some stress from work or some personal issues, and that's going to make it hard for him to focus on the conversation and to fully listen, understand, and retain what you're saying. You have a good message, but sometimes his mind is elsewhere. Communication styles. We all have different communication styles, and that can lead to misunderstandings. It's a normal thing that happens. He might not express his thoughts the same way as you do, and so therefore that kind of seems like a disconnect. Fatigue. If he's tired, especially if he's had a long day of masking at work, he's going to struggle to engage fully in what you're saying. He couldn't stand on his head enough different ways to fully listen, understand, and retain when he's tired. We also have overwhelm. If he's been dealing with a lot of responsibilities or challenges that you may or may not be aware of, he might feel overwhelmed and simply be unable to process the information that you're delivering. He hears it, but he's a slow processor anyway, and if he's anxious, processing is going to be nil. Also, different priorities. He probably prioritizes different topics or conversations. Stuff that's of interest to him isn't of interest to you, and vice versa. And so since he's very topic focused, this could lead him to tune out discussions that he doesn't see as essential. And number 6, listening skills. Some people just naturally have poor listening skills. I'm not calling him an idiot. He might be smarter than me, general IQ wise. But if he's low in his listening skills, this can affect his ability to engage in conversations that you would download as he's actually paying attention. Another issue that you may experience when he's not listening would be emotional state issues. If he's upset or frustrated about something that may or may not have anything to do with you, he might not be in the right emotional state to listen. When we're flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, or we've got something running in the back of our mind that's preoccupying our thoughts, it's almost impossible to listen. We have assumed understanding. He might think he understands what you're saying without fully listening. And as you have experienced this, I'm sure this leads to assumptions rather than genuine engagement. How many times have you run into that where he looks like he's listening and you think he got it, only to find out later he didn't get it? We also have technology distractions. Digital devices are all over the house, smartphones, TV, this and this and that. And so if he's got one of his devices on, that's going to interrupt conversation and it's going to divert his attention elsewhere. And then we also have habits and patterns. If he has become accustomed to not fully listening or engaging in discussions, that will be called give and take in conversation, it's kind of turned into a habit that's hard to break. He's established some neural pathways, and old habits make tuning you out run on autopilot. So it would be important for us to recognize these reasons and view them as legitimate, and then rather than viewing it as he's insensitive, selfish, uncaring, narcissistic, doesn't care about me, work's more important than me, and so on. Okay? I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about your experience with this lack of presence or lack of attentiveness. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you. Hey guys, this is Mark. Click on the join button underneath any of my videos, then click on members only videos, and then click on join. And for $9.99 a month, you'll have access to members only videos, which are excerpts from previous workshops I've conducted for NT partners, ASD partners, and the neurodiverse couple. New videos will be uploaded weekly.